Oh, get over here in the light. Paisley. Come here. Say hi to everybody. She's very curious right now. She's just looking all over. Trying to keep her up here. Paisley, don't go down the steps. Paisley. You need to pay attention, girl. You're on camera. She's not cooperating just yet. We start moving around, she might be a little better. She's just curious right now. She don't get to spend too much time out here on the porch because we've only had her for a day, so it's a lot of inside work. Paisley, come here. There you go. You stay with Dad, okay? Oh, we just hanging out now. Got back, got things charged up a little bit from our live stream down at camp. And now we're just sort of hanging out a little bit with the dog out on the porch. Oh, hey, Jess, you want to see her? Come here, Paisley. We'll get her over here in the light right quick. There she is. She's like all over the place right now. This dog has taken in a lot of information in the last about 48 hours since we got her. Paisley. So she's just learning like territory. She's a shepherd pit mix. So look at them paws, man. She's got monster paws. She's gonna be a big dog. Paisley, come here, Dad. Thank you. She's a bit of a crybaby. Hey, turn around here. That's the big wide world out there. You ain't ready for that just yet. She's sniffing everything. I said she don't get much time out here on the porch. Everything's been inside here while we're trying to teach her the ways of the house and get her to fit into that pack mentality between her and Cheyenne. Yeah, a little bit. She got her own room. She got her own toys. We got her all fixed up. So she's doing pretty good, all things considered. And she's fairly happy. I'm going to sit down here a little bit and see how she acts. Ugh, sorry about the blockage there. Yeah, I kind of want to see how she acts with me not so focused on her. I'm trying to train her to know her boundaries without it being reinforced too much. We'll take a look at her again here in a little bit. After she gets used to being out here on the porch, she might settle down some. So I got home from camp there, and I was a muddy mess from working with that cob. So I got cleaned up a little bit and got settled. Everything settled in with the fam. Courtney went to sleep, and her and Cheyenne's in there napping now. So it's just me and PJ out here hanging out on the porch a little bit. Just trying to settle in, getting all my gear put away. I didn't take too much out with me today. Come here. She keeps eating the grape leaves. Hey, thanks, Tyler. Appreciate that. You know, this is the new baby of the family. And she's going to be growing up right here on the channel. We're going to get her some deer antler and have her gnaw on some deer antler every once in a while. See if we can help train her to go out with us on shed hunts in the early spring. Maybe she can go out there and round us up some antler, huh? Help us with HB's rack. She went down to play now. Let me get this live chat turned on, right? So whenever I start streaming, I see the top chat, but I don't see the live. So we'll let Paisley settle down here a little bit. We'll keep looking at her every once in a while. We're going to bust open this bottle of Four Roses bourbon tonight. We're going to finish off our night like that. Pretty good time down at camp tonight. A lot of topics talked about. Not a lot of building done. So we're going to be getting back down there tomorrow and getting a lot more of the old wood processing out of the way. So our next live stream we do a little bit more progression, and it'll be obviously be earlier in the day. We was trying to build there at night and it wasn't working out too well. Ooh, 4 roses. We busted out the good bourbon for the after party. So now we're just hanging out with PJ out here on the porch. Let her get some time out here. I'm kind of hoping she'll get more and more comfortable coming out here with me while I'm live streaming, and maybe she can hang out with us a little more often on the streams. She's going to be having to go to bed soon. Trying to get a new puppy down on her routine is ridiculous. Whoa, and she does hit the tripod every once in a while because she's a pouncer. When I first got home, she had a bad case of the zoomies. She was just so worked up that I made it back home and got so excited. She was just bouncing all over and chasing her tail and doing all the stuff that puppies do. You need to quit eating the grapes. See yourself on the camera? Look at this. Look at them paws. And she's only about 5 months old. This girl is going to be a beast. She's going to be the huntsman dog, huh? And go out and help us get HB's rack this year. Or maybe. We'll see how Mama feels about it. Oh, see, right there's a fucking still image. Look, you see the puppy on there? That's you! No, she done nuzzled up to the camera and switched the chat over on me again. She's singing herself there. Who doesn't love puppies? Puppies change everything. So, I wrestled with getting her so soon after Bailey's passing. Cause I was really close to Bailey. And I thought that we was kind of rushing a little bit. Make sure PJ didn't mess up my, there we go. I thought it felt kind of rushed, like we had just euthanized Bear and, got her tucked away. And then we really hadn't even got through the grieving process of losing Bailey. And then this woman out of nowhere messaged Courtney on Facebook. Because, of course, Courtney announced that Bailey had passed on Facebook, and this woman just comes out of nowhere, wasn't even on her friends list, comes out of nowhere asking if we was looking to rescue another dog, and sent pictures of PJ, and I was like, man, oh yeah, she's going to be a beast. Like I said, she's a shepherd pit, so her daddy was a big boy, and her mama was a pit. I think she's going to take after her dad. She looks a lot more like her dad. Anyway, this woman comes out of nowhere with this puppy and asks us if we wanted another rescue. It belonged to her son. So they didn't want to get too attached to her. There was a problem there. I guess her son rents a property, and the landlord didn't want him having a dog. Well, I don't have that problem. So rather than taking her to a shelter or something like that, alright, at least she cruised by my house with country music playing. Rather than taking her to a shelter or something like that, we had him bring her over so we could meet her in person, and she came over. And I didn't feel right about it. Like, nothing about it felt right, just because, because it was so soon after Bailey's passing. And I was still dealing with that. But then her and Cheyenne kind of linked and locked a little bit, like instantaneous. So we got to talk, Courtney and I got to talking about whether or not we wanted to take on this pup, given our current situation with the emotional situation of Bailey. And we're like, what are the odds that this woman's just going to come out of nowhere with the right kind of breed that we look for? Not really a rescue situation, but she needed an adoptive family, or she would have been a rescue situation, so we saved her from that whole traumatizing process of getting bounced around through the system, you know. And then her and Cheyenne kind of hitting it off right away. It just all added up to, okay, you know, we'll go ahead and take her. So right now we're down to puppy training, which we crate train. Went out and bought her a new pen. Don't get stuck in there. Hey. Went out and bought her a new pen to for her to sleep in, new blanket, new toys, all of that stuff. So it's all her scent. It's her area. She has her own little safe space there. We use a ticking clock while she's in there on her overnight, so she's got this rhythmic background noise. And goddamn, son, you ain't impressing nobody. So she got this rhythmic background noise that helps her fall asleep and help keeps her calm. And then in the daytime, it's just about getting her down to a routine, which is watching the clock some, making sure she goes out whether she wants to or not, kind of housebreaking her a little bit. We've only had 2 accidents in the house so far, but we take her out like 10 times a day too. And Cheyenne kind of herds her around a little bit. If Chey goes out and takes care of business, then she's kind of following suit. It's kind of like a monkey see, monkey do thing. You want me to hold you? And she's all about being held. Ugh, all the time. Yeah, she'll get there. Like, we're only a day into it. She's already, you know, got her spot in the backyard where she wants to go to the bathroom all the damn time, and then I have to go behind her and clean it up and doing all that. But she hasn't chewed on anything in the house or anything like that. She hasn't tried to, you know, gnaw on furniture or tear anything up. But we got her rope toys and we got, you know, things like that. So that kind of offset, we kind of cut that off at the pass before it ever happened. She did get left alone for a little while today, and she was out of the crate, and everything was just fine. Came home, and Chey turned out to be a pretty good babysitter. Chey's kind of hurting her a little bit, and if Paisley gets a little too hyperactive or something like that, Chey will growl at her and calm her down. So, but Cheyenne went through the same steps that this pup here's gone through, so she knows. It's just about where she's fitting into the hierarchy. Yeah, for now. Puppies are puppies. They're going to tear something up. She's going to find something that she just wants to gnaw on. And that's fine. You know, can't get mad at them for it. It's just in their nature. Especially when they get hyper and stuff like that. They need something to play with. And she's teething. She's still got her baby teeth in there. So she wants to chew on shit a lot. She's going to be a beast, though. I think she'll be a good dog. She is a lover. And look at that. See her little face. She's got this goddamn... I'm a homeless puppy dog look, like on a Sarah McLachlan video. And for 50 cents a day, you can have a PJ. Yeah, she'll be a good dog. She's gonna be our next guard dog, though. Cheyenne, she thinks she's a lot bigger than she actually is. Paisley here, she's gonna have some weight to her when she grows up, just because of that shepherd that's in her. And then she's going to have that little bit of attitude because of the pit that's in her. So it's going to be interesting to see how her personality develops as she gets a little bit older. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on that and make sure that the pack order is well adjusted in her little mind, where she's not going to turn on me or turn on Courtney. And I think if she, you know, right now, of course, if she tried to turn on Cheyenne, Cheyenne would just kick her ass. Is it 69 cents? 69 cents a day to save a little homeless looking dog, even though she's never been homeless. She's a poster child for a sad puppy dog look, though. Ugh, man. What are you doing? She's back there hiding in the corner behind my chair now. So yeah, we had a good time there at camp tonight, and we covered a lot of topics, I guess. We sort of got nothing scripted. I don't have a plan whenever I'm out at camp, and I just start talking. It's kind of whatever comes to mind. But we didn't get a lot of the build done because just running out of daylight. I gotta keep considering that it's turning fall, so it gets darker a little bit sooner every single day that we're going into this. I'm going to have to start doing morning streams and afternoon streams if we're going to keep with doing the Bushcraft build on live streams and getting it done. But we only have one more panel to do there. maybe a half an hour of wood processing for that. And then our next big project is getting that fireplace and chimney up, which is going to take some time. That's going to take a few days to get that done because of stacking it in layers and letting it cure, and on up we go. Hey, don't be tearing stuff up. That's not a toy. So, I'm thinking tonight's episode on the live bushcraft build series was number 17 in the series. So if you look back at the playlist, we got 17 episodes. Each of those episodes running 2, 3, 4 hours. And we're probably going to try to wrap it up within 22 episodes. So our next few streams going to be a lot more activity on the build, a lot less sitting around bullshitting, just to get that last panel in the chimney up. We got the bark laying over there on the far bank that's all cured up, cleaned, and dried, ready to be put on. We got a 3-foot footer that we're putting around. That's clay. That's going to go all the way around the base, so it starts blending the angle of the shelter in with that hillside. And then we got a layer of topsoil that we're going to be putting on there. I mean, just a lot of add-ons to the build itself. Some of it's insulative layers, some of it's windbreak, some of it's draft break, some of it's just how the shelter is going to look after it's done. So whenever we get back out there next summer, by next summer, what we're wanting, the overall view of the shelter is, if you're looking at it from a distance, it's going to look like the hill itself, the hill that the shelter is sitting on, has broken open, kind of like a volcano, and then the shelter's just rising up out of the ground. That is the overall vision, is just kind of have that earthen layer coming up like this, and then the shelter right in the middle of it. So that's what we're going for as far as a wide view of the bushcraft build, and that's why we have an A-frame structure, but we have that house frame inside around the door. The house frame itself is going to appear to be, from a distance, the build, and the rest of it's going to look like the land itself. So we're actually molding the shelter into the cliff. So I got those boys. We got a few live streams ago. We talked about the crime popping up in the area. So we went and we put in. No, that was a Harley. We went and we put in security cameras around the house, and kind of one up the security level on the house because there was this crime spree happening. Well, a few doors down from me, there's a retired Marine that lives down there, and a couple of his military friends, buddies, whatever, all got together and decided to put together this little patrol of motorcycles. So every once in a while, the boys head out from that house down there, and they just ride around the neighborhood and make sure there's no bullshit going on. So we're kind of policing our own neighborhood with that. So whenever I see one of the bikes go by, I really don't mind the noise, because I know they're just out checking the neighborhood. And they actually came around and told us, if you see anything, let us know, and we'll write it down. So the crime spree kind of stopped a little bit. We put up our security cameras. I'm cruising around because I come home late at night. Whenever I get off of work, it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'll make sure I cruise around the neighborhood a little bit. And then we got the Marines on the Harleys cruising around all hours of the night. And then at 6 o'clock in the evening, every evening, they go for a ride. And it's hard telling when they're going to come back or how often they're going to loop around. Sometimes they just ride around the block, just make themselves known. And they're just getting the word out that they're keeping an eye on the neighborhood. We're keeping an eye on the neighborhood, and everything sort of got pushed back. Everything quieted down in the last couple of weeks. So it just ain't the place. There's easier targets. This ain't the place to be fucking around. Ugh. Man, that bourbon. This Four Roses bourbon. This is my first bottle of Four Roses, and it has a little bit more kick to it than my normal Maker's Mark does. This is some. It's good. It's a little bit stronger than flavor than Maker's Mark. But we did want to bust out the good bottle of bourbon for the after party wrap up here with Paisley. And if you want to come up here, I'll hold you. Come on. Get out of that corner, you scaredy cat. Oh, here we go. Up we go. Ah, there she is. There's our girl. Star of the show for the wrap up this evening. We wanted to introduce everybody to Paisley. She's about to go to bed. We'll leave her out here for a few more minutes, but we're going to be putting her to bed, and after I get Paisley tucked in, then we'll bust out the tarantula and take a look at it. So we'll get her tucked into bed, we'll bring Charlotte out, and we'll take a look at her real quick, and that'll be it for me for this evening. Wrap up this little glass of bourbon, but this is our new puppy. This is the new addition to the family right here, Paisley Joe. Yeah, we got a spider coming, Jess. I hope you stick around for it. We're going to bust her out here in a few minutes. It's about time for Paisley to go to bed. So, yeah, you guys want to see Charlotte, my 14-year-old rose-haired tarantula? We'll bring her out real quick. Let me go ahead and put Paisley in the house, and we'll bring Charlotte out so y'all can see her. Say goodnight to everybody. There you go. Give everybody kisses. All right. Alright, y'all ready for this? Jess, I hope you're watching. This is Charlotte. Now I got Charlotte, I got Charlotte 14 years ago off the back of a truck come out of the south. This guy was selling them. He had I don't know, 5 or 6 rose-haired tarantulas in the back of his truck, and sold her to me for $20 for this spider. And like I said, she was about the size of a quarter when I got her. And now she's just a little bit bigger. So there's Charlotte. She's about the size of my hand, a little bit bigger than my hand actually. And they're very docile creatures. They don't try to bite you or anything like that. But she does have this little spot on her back right there. And if she gets irritated, what she'll do is she'll take her hind leg and she'll start kicking the top of her belly, and it throws off these almost like stinging nettles is what it's like. And those spores will get into the air, and a lot of people are allergic to it. It feels just like stinging nettles if she starts kicking that shit off of her. And that's the only real defense mechanism that they have. Other than that, she does have like some, quarter-inch fangs under there, but they're kind of like fish hook shaped, so she couldn't bite into me if she wanted to. It has to be something small and something that can get up underneath her. If you just put her in your hand like that, that's all she behaves like. That's pretty much all she does. She'll crawl around a little bit, she'll get up on your shoulder or something, but that's pretty much the activity of a rose-haired tarantula right there. She's very calm, very docile, but right now she's got a full belly too. She just got done eating. You feed her pinhead crickets, but she is big enough that one time, I don't know, we was fucking around. She was younger. We was fucking around, and it was winter time. No, it wasn't winter time. It was midsummer, because with we put a damn tree frog in her tank, thinking that the tree frog would just climb up on in the branches that we keep in there, and then we'd have this frog in there with the tarantula, and it would be this thing. Charlotte wasn't having that shit. She grabbed that tree frog, which is about the same size as she was, and snapped it right in two. Like, she was not having nothing up in her tank with her. She took a full-grown fucking tree frog and snapped it in two like it was nothing. And she didn't leave nothing to that frog either. She ate a full-grown frog all by herself. But her primary diet's pinhead crickets, large pinhead crickets. We put them in there, and then we'll add, obviously keep her water bowl full, but then we'll throw it in like a slice of banana, or lettuce for the crickets to eat, and then the crickets get all of that nutrition from the lettuce or the fruit. And then whenever Charlotte eats the crickets, she gets the nutrition out of the crickets. So there's this whole chain of life thing that goes on there. You got to keep the crickets healthy. Whatever you dose them with, you're dosing your spider with. So Probably won't be too much longer before she molts again. She'll have this pretty new coat of fur. Right now she's getting a little bit of gray on her, but not too much. Oh, you did? I'll have to check that out. Whenever I got home, I didn't have too much time to catch up on anything. I haven't even gone back from our last live stream and checked it out yet. Ugh. But I'll definitely get back in there and check out that live stream. That way I can go back and read everybody's comments that I missed and all that kind of stuff. Try to keep up with what's going on and what you folks are saying whenever I got my back turned to the camera and I'm working on the build. That's something that I always like to do. Just trying to make the live streams better for you guys and make sure that I don't miss anything important. Yeah, we get out of the woods. We was out there in the woods. We heard all the tree frogs and the crickets and everything like that. And then we get back home here. It's just crickets. It's nice to hear them. I like sitting out here on the porch. A lot of times when I'm not doing anything else, I'll sit out here. I'll sit out in the garage. I'll tinker with my compound bow or play with Cheyenne. Now that I got PJ, I'll be playing with her quite a bit more. But I always like being outside, even whenever I'm at home. I can't be wrapped up in the house too long or I start going nuts. So I was tinkering around in the garage with something, or shooting the bow, working on the truck, you know, putting more accents on it, whether it's camo or polishing the rims. Always doing something outside. I gotta be doing something outside. Wintertime drives me fucking nuts. So I didn't put Paisley to bed yet. I don't know what she might be getting into, but we gonna go ahead and put Charlotte back in the tank here real quick and get her all settled in. And then I'm going to be wrapping it up for the evening, guys. You got to meet Paisley, and you got to see my tarantula. Cheyenne did not make an appearance tonight because she's in bed sleeping with her mama right now. And Cheyenne's anxiety's a little bit up. She's a little stressed having a new puppy in the house because it's a learning curve for her, too. So it's important for Cheyenne to have her downtime where it's just her and mom or her and me, and you're off in another room, and the puppy's energy's not mixed in with that, you know. So Cheyenne doesn't get depressed or angry with PJ and, you know, go after Paisley because she's just getting on her nerves. We saw a little bit of sign of that yesterday where Cheyenne started growling at Paisley like, I don't really like you just yet, but got a dog and a cat. We got two cats too. Our cats are antisocial little bastards though. We got one cat named Soldier and another one named Suki. They both came into the picture about the same time Bailey did. And they're both just fat and lazy little bastards. Soldier's my cat. He's the most antisocial one, though. He stays in this one corner in the kitchen. He'll come out maybe once or twice a day. He'll let you rub his ears for a minute, and then he goes right back to his spot, and he doesn't want you messing with him after that. And then Suki is the one that runs around all the time. And Suki is the one that meows at the Huntsman painting. I don't know if any of you, I don't know if Jess or if any of you actually seen the Huntsman painting, and the whole thing that this painting is haunted because every fucking animal we've ever had looks at this painting, and even PJ's done it. Like when we first brought PJ in the house, one of the first things she did was went up to that painting and started howling at it. And then the cats all night long will sit there looking up at the painting just howling at it. So there's this whole thing, you know, my wife and her family thinking that this painting's haunted, and that's what's causing all the animals to go fucking nuts whenever they're looking at it. But that's the official logo for the channel too. If y'all want, I can bring it out here and show it to you real quick whenever I take Charlotte in. The haunted Huntsman painting. I've showed it in a couple of videos before. And it is that symbol that is the main logo for the channel. You can see it right down in the corner of my videos, and it's in the background of the title and all that shit. Whenever we get to the Hunter's Moon, that's the anniversary of when I sat down and made that particular painting and came up with the concept for the channel, all in the same damn day. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Charlotte back because she's getting a little heavy. You know, these things weigh a ton. Yeah, I'll grab that painting and we'll show it off real quick while I finish off my bourbon and we'll wrap it up. So just give me a second here, guys, and we'll call it quits for the evening. Alright. So I'm gonna have to sit you all back here a little bit. I'll turn you. Yeah, I better turn you this way so you can see it. This is the painting that is supposedly haunted. We'll see if we can get it back so y'all can take a good look at it. It's a fairly good sized painting. But there she is. That's how I made this. The staining in the background there is actually blood. That's actual blood and graveyard dirt smeared on a white canvas. So those are blood stains and graveyard dirt in the background. And then right there on the symbol, you see how it's textured like that? That's graveyard dirt, the ashes of an oak tree, and the ashes of a rosebud mixed into the paint. So we got the blood and ash and dirt on the background. There's graveyard dirt, oak ash, and the ashes of a rose inside that painting. And the painting was tinted with a bottle of red wine. So that's the Huntsman painting right there. And if you take this out and you hold it up to a light, you can see watermarks of oak leaves and rose petals in the background. They're hidden in there unless you hold it up to a light. And how I did that was I took the oak leaves and I coated them in olive oil, and then I did the same thing with the rose petals and laid them on the canvas so that oil soaked into the canvas, and I did that before I put the stain on. So it caused this lighting error in the stain, the background stain. So whenever you hold it up to the light, those marks show through, so you can see oak leaves and rose petals falling down over the painting, but only if you hold it up to a light, or certain spectrums of light, like a black light will light it up too. So that's the Huntsman painting right there. And I keep it hung in the hallway there. And yeah, that's where the cat sat and meow at it, and even Paisley went off on it. We're gonna take it back in there and hang it up right quick. Get in there. You're getting a little later in the day now. I don't know. Y'all are gonna see a quick glimpse of my house here real quick. It's kind of dark though because we got everything all turned off. Just 1 second, let me sit you down. I'll hang that back up. Ugh. Yeah, keep the painting hung right there in the dark ass hallway. And then every time I have to go through that hallway, I'm reminded that I should probably be out filming or something. But there's a story behind that painting. That was not just, you know, random graveyard dirt or anything like that in that painting. That was that was something special. And we'll get to that story one more time on the Hunter's Moon this year. That goes back to a couple of years before I created the series. And it's a long story. We don't need to get into it again tonight. But yeah, that graveyard dirt that's in that particular painting came up from a very specific grave. The oak ashes that are in the paint itself came from a very specific oak tree. And then the rose that I had burned and put the rose petal ash in the paint too came from a very specific rose. Yeah, I'll do a video on it, Jess. I'm going to be releasing that video on the Hunter's Moon. And that will tell the story behind not only the painting and the mythology behind the channel, but it will also explain why we're building the bushcraft build that we're building now, that's storybook inspired. And it also gives the story, and I've had subscribers ask about this. It'll give you guys the story about this particular locket that you always see in the series. You always see me wearing this. I very rarely ever take it off. There's ashes, the same ashes that are in the painting are inside of this locket. That locket opens up, and it's got the same ashes and graveyard dirt inside of the locket. So I've had subscribers ask me about this locket before. That's about as close of a look at it that you're going to get at it. I very rarely ever take that locket off. I even wear it to sleep. The chain's really heavy, and yeah, very personal story. And it's something that I talked about it before. I actually filmed a video. There's a video in the regular Huntsman series where I was at the cemetery where the oak tree's at, and I told the story about how I came up with the concept of the channel. And then we went out to the wiki up, and I explained a little bit more about the story. I had a video up a long time ago. It was a music video of old footage from before Courtney and I had gotten together, and it gave the origin story behind the channel itself, the concept of the channel. It wasn't just a bushcraft channel. There was more to me and more to the story than just going out and making another cookie cutter bushcraft channel. And it's the same with the build now. We're building a storybook cottage inspired bushcraft build. So what I'm doing is I'm taking remnants and memories from an old life, and it's kind of blending in with the life that I have now. And there's a lot of memories, and the bushcraft build that we're building now is a tribute to someone that I lost a long time ago. Her locket, the grave, all of it is all tied in together, and it all came into one linked and locked story on the hunter's moon in October, the full moon in October. So that's where, you know, the hunter's moon, the night of the hunter's moon, making the painting, putting the ashes in the locket, you know, lost love, and she loved fairy tales. So we start the Huntsman series off. We sort of get our own edge, we get our following. We develop things a little bit, and more that origin stories seeps in. And like right now, the highlight is the cottage being a fairy tale storybook inspired build. That is a tribute to her memory and losing her. She loved fairy tales, so I'm out there building this whole fairy tale world. It's not just the build itself, but it's the landscape around it, how we did the 3 rings and the meadow, and bringing in the wildlife rather than pushing the wildlife away. Everything about this build is that tribute. And it's just kind of putting my whole story into build or into this channel as best I can anyway, without getting all emotional about it, you know. It's hard losing people. You're not a Harley. But we do lose them every once in a while. And that's why I drink 4 Roses bourbon too. 4 Roses. 4 Roses means a lot to the story. That's why there's the roses or ashes of a rose in that painting and in my locket. Roses were very important to the story. So it's the first day of spring. See, there's this. I mean, it's this insanely complicated mythology. If I was to sit down and write it, it'd be one hell of a novel, a very detailed novel. But it was a real life story that inspired everything that you've seen me do. It's the reason that I'm out in the Emerald Forest. It's the reason that I moved 200 miles away from everything that I've ever known. It's the reason I wear this locket. It's the reason I made the painting. It's the reason behind everything. There's one reason behind everything. And we allude to that a little bit, but we don't really tell the whole story. I do have old videos though, that will be releasing on the Hunter's Moon. So the full moon in October, we'll be releasing a very special video that will give away the origin story of the Huntsman series 5 years before we actually created the channel. And I'll also talk about getting to meet Chris Helmsworth. I got to meet Chris right before I launched the series too. Chris was in town for a convention, and I got to meet up with him. I hung out with Chris Helmsworth for about a half an hour and talked to him about the Huntsman movie. And getting some backstory behind how he developed his character in the Huntsman movie, and told him about making the Huntsman channel and this fairy tale, the story that came up, the real life fairy tale that is running in the background of the Huntsman channel. So you see me out there doing the bushcrafting bit, and you see my mouthy ass country boy side, but behind all of the bullshit, all of the rants, all of the differences that I have with other outdoorsmen, I mean, behind all of the surface bullshit, there is a very deep, complicated, and emotional story behind why I'm in that woods. Why I'm making this particular style of build and the way that I'm imagining it. The painting, the logo, even the fucking logo that's on the title of the top banner of the channel. All of that is all connected. The whole fucking thing is all connected to one person, one story, one point in time in my life. And this is the entire story of the Huntsman channel, is what happens if happily ever after never happened. If it went a different way. So that's where we're at in the story now. This is an aftermath of a never was. That's what it is. My story is never this. It's not happily ever after. It's never was. It never happened. Not the way that it happens in the fairy tales, anyway. But yeah, complicated mythology behind the channel. A lot of motivation and a lot of inspiration. A lot of things that give my channel that edge, and probably a lot of my attitude problem, because I'm using the channel as sort of a therapeutic thing where I'm venting out the bad emotions, and created this whole world and this whole character and this whole story just as a coping mechanism. We can talk about that here on live streams, whenever it's just kind of personal, you know, and we're just sort of hanging out. But yeah, it's complicated. I'm a lot more complicated than what a lot of people out there might swear to. And I've had an eventful fucking life, let me tell you. And Courtney's aware of all of it. Courtney's actually, you know, accepted a lot of the things that I didn't let go of, that I brought into our relationship. That, like, because I told her straight out, you know, this happened to me. I'm fucking damaged, and I'm gonna carry this ghost with me forever. She knows, she's aware. So whenever I talk about the story, or I release the footage, and you see this other girl, you actually get to see her. You know, Courtney's aware of all that. She's aware of the story that made me who I am. And she's not going to try to deny it any more than I do. But yeah, you actually get to see the girl behind it all. Everything. Little details that show up in the series but are never talked about. Little details that show up throughout my social media, the whole network, that are never really, why did you choose this pattern? Why did you choose this symbol? Why did you choose that locket? Why did you, you know, do this? Why did you do that? It all goes back to one point in time. We'll get there. So 2-year anniversary, well, at least the 2-year anniversary of the concept of the channel will be the Hunter's Moon in October, and that's when we'll reveal the story. The next holiday, as far as the Huntsman series goes, is the first day of spring, and the first day of spring is the happier side of the same story. That's the best way to be, Jess. I mean, everybody carries shit with them, and it doesn't matter whether, it's not about whether it's right or wrong, or whether you should just move on and let it go, or anything like that. Some things that happen to you in life just stick with you. And it's the people that we love the most that make up the brick and mortar of who we are. And if for whatever reason, whether it's an accident, or they just leave or something like that, whenever they're gone, our whole world just collapses. All that brick and mortar, the center of our universe, is gone. And sometimes that's a lot more dramatic than a Facebook status message. Sometimes it's really damaging. Sometimes it goes right to your fucking core and changes who you are. That's what happened to me. I was a different person before that happened, and I was a different person after that happened. And to be honest, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what the fuck I was supposed to be without her. Uh, but I'm not the only person that goes through that kind of thing either, you know. Everybody's gone through that kind of thing where forever turned out to be not so fucking long at all. It happens to everybody. It wasn't my first dance, but it was my longest one. And it was the one that I was most invested in. I tried to do everything right. I tried to go above and beyond anything that you could imagine. I pulled off some shit. Uh, only the loser in the end. But it happens. I'm happy now. I mean, Courtney and we got a good relationship. Of course, we have our challenges, just like any other relationship. But and we pushed each other to the edge. A couple months ago, we was headed towards divorce, and we took some time apart, regrouped, you know, and came back together all the stronger for it. Now, you know, I got a new job that I'm not really trying to settle into anymore. I pretty much got it down, but it's so goddamn random. It's not like a steady schedule. It's different every fucking night. So working nights, that throws off my my whole yeah, it took some work, but it took some trust too. And it wasn't her. Honestly, it wasn't Courtney. She, you know, she was doing everything she could to fight for me, but I had gotten to the point where I wasn't interested. And I'm the one that initiated that whole divorce thing. I told her I wanted a divorce. I told her she was going what she wanted, and what I was after was just two different directions, and I didn't think that it was going to work out. It wasn't a emotional thing. There was no drama behind it, no fighting or anything like that. We were just communicating that we had a different point of view on the future. So we took some time apart to see if our, you know, we had just got congested with life and each other, and kind of cleared our head a little bit, figure out what the fuck it is we're trying to do. I mean, we're both older. We're not old. We're both 40. So we got that middle age, midlife wrap up going on. Not really a midlife crisis, because I know who the fuck I am. She's pretty set in the way she is. We're not going to change for anybody, including each other. But now we're to the point in life where we've had our fun, and now it's time to start planning for the long-term future of how we want to wrap this up to where we can at least retire in, you know, 20 years, which might be a stretch because it seems like every few years the retirement age goes up. But that's one of the things that I have to consider at my age, and that's one of the things that I, you know, whenever I was talking on the live stream before, and I was talking about that 16-year-old kid who dropped out of school to be a full-time YouTuber because she wasn't interested in school. When she gets to be my age, she's gonna realize that was a bad fucking choice, and all of those people in her comment section is probably gonna realize it was a bad fucking choice too. Because I know how stressful it is. I know what I'm up against whenever it comes to planning for retirement and not having to work until I die. But I'll also be the type of guy that the doctor's going to have to tell me to quit, and I won't listen. I'll still be doing something. I'll probably be working in the woods whenever I fucking have a heart attack and die. Which is fine by me. I don't care. Oh, anyway, guys, it's a little bit late now. I'm going to go ahead and make sure the pup is tucked in. I'm going to get in there. We're going to go for about 10 more minutes to make this a full hour stream. Get in there, and I'll go ahead and sit down, get me something to eat, and I'll go back and watch that 3-hour live stream that we did earlier today, and make sure I catch everybody's comments and things like that. It's good to go back and read those things, and I enjoy watching my videos. I don't think other people do. I think other people just think that I'm a dick, but they don't know the story. If you guys stick around with me until the Hunter's Moon, you're gonna see a whole different side of the channel. And the reason we're doing that on the Hunter's Moon is because, like I said, that's a very important day for the channel. And between the Hunter's Moon and the first day of spring, those 2 days of the year, that's when we sort of go into the next phase of development as far as what we're going to do next on the channel. Obviously, we'll have the Bushcraft build done by then. We'll be settling in for winter on the Hunter's Moon. I'm trying to get the money together for some new pieces of gear that'll carry us through the winter. One of them's a coat, the other's a backpack. So we'll have some unique looking pieces of gear coming in. Not really that important. And then as we're leading into all that, we have hunting season. We'll be going out tracking the whitetail again. There's just a bazillion things to do all around this channel. We got this whole world that we're trying to maintain. And for the most part, I'm out there by myself. Like, you never see anybody out with me. I have one video where my brother had been in a car accident. And he had, like, I don't know, 1,000 fucking pins put in his damn shoulder, and they had it wrapped in barbed wire around his bone and all this other weird shit. At least that's what it looked like on the x-ray. I mean, his shoulder was messed up, and they had to have it all wired and pinned together for him to heal. He was doing a little bit of rehab, and wanted to come up and move around a little bit, so I brought him up here, and he went out on a hike with me. That's the only time you ever seen anybody out with me in the woods. I go out there by myself. I'm out there by myself all the time. And I like it that way. I'm just antisocial that way. I'm a lot more comfortable out in the woods than anywhere. Always have been, probably always will be. That's where I was born, and that's probably where I'm gonna die. And there ain't a whole lot going on in between. But, you know, I try to, whenever I'm out there, I try to give a different perspective from the filming aspect of it, you know, focusing on different things that you don't see other outdoorsmen focus on. That was a cat. Man, when cats are fighting, it sounds like something straight out of the pit of hell. Anyway, yeah, the way that I film the series, the way that what I'm trying to capture on film, and the unique elements that I try to capture on film, all goes back to what inspires the channel, that origin story. I think if you have an origin story behind your channel, no matter what your channel is, the mythology, actual mythology behind your channel, this almost unbelievable story behind your channel, it's going to develop however it wants to develop, and no matter what you do, it's going to go in the direction it's meant to go in. And that's the ride that I'm on. I don't know what's going to happen from one minute to the next out there. That's what makes this fun for me. Yeah, my two cats, I caught that comment there, Jess. My two cats are the same way. Suki's the vocal one, though Soldier don't really meow. Suki has this habit. He'll find a piece of string or one of his toys, and at like 3 o'clock in the morning, he'll sit with that toy hanging out of his mouth, and he just does this fucking meow from the fucking 7th layer of hell, because he wants attention. He gets that separation anxiety whenever everybody goes to bed and the house gets quiet. He don't like that. So he gets this toy in his mouth, kind of offering it up, and then he does that cry to get attention. It's crazy. He starts doing that with PJ out there. PJ's liable to bust out of her cage and tear him a new one. She don't like his meow. It sets her off a little bit, but that's okay. Ugh. I'm tired, guys. I worked last night. I didn't get home till 4 o'clock in the morning. I got about an hour of sleep, and then I had to take Courtney to work. I get Courtney to work, and of course I was home with the girls and trying to train PJ throughout the day. So I did that. I went out to camp, and I got some of the wood processing done for the next couple of days, and tinkered around there. Started filming Friday night's episode of Huntsman. Come back home, went and picked Courtney up from work, then took my ass back out to the woods, got the live stream done. Then we come back home. I had a half a slice of pizza before we started doing this live stream. So I got like an hour's worth of sleep in the past 24, a little over 24 hours. But that's just where I'm at right now. This fucking work thing, man, they're working me hard. Like, it's supposed to be this temporary job where I was trying to balance a couple of things out. And went from working weekends to working every single day the past week, and I'll be working every single day throughout the next week, and it's always late at night. It's always like 7 to 3 or 4 in the morning. So that's fucking up my normal filming schedule, my normal filming times, because I always live stream in the evening, or did my filming in the evening, and now I have to do it in the morning because I'm working all night. So I gotta go to work. I work all night, and then as soon as the sun comes up, I gotta head out and film, and then try to get that processed in the afternoon. And there's no time for sleep. I gotta figure this puzzle out because it's gonna catch up with me eventually. That's why the content sort of waned a little bit. We had a couple of Friday night episodes of Huntsman that I had to put off because one, there was either no time for filming. This last Friday got put off because it was the same day that I put Bailey down. And I wasn't going to be trying to post a Friday night episode of Huntsman and keep up with comments and all of that shit with everything that we was going through. Me and Courtney were both a fucking wreck that night. YouTube was the last thing on my mind. So hope everybody understands that. You know, sometimes life gets in the way. YouTube is not my priority. If something happens in my family that cancels a Friday night episode or a live stream, that's just the way it fucking goes. Try to make it up a little bit later, you know. And that's just how we operate. Work comes first. And that's whether it's work here at the house and working on family things, and me and Courtney's relationship, or actually fucking going to work and having a day job so you can call yourself a fucking adult. And then YouTube comes second. This is what turned it, you know, we tried to start this off as a hobby, doing this as sort of a fill-in throughout the week or weekends, you know, one day a week, some shit like that. But then we started building up, channel started growing like wildfire. But then we kind of plateaued a little bit this past month or two. We kind of plateaued a little bit. Like the subscriber base isn't going up the way it was. The views have stagnated to where I get, you know, average, but nothing really spectacular coming out. And a lot of that had to do with us cutting out the Huntress collaboration stream that was bringing in a lot of our views. I went from having 11 to 15,000 views a day to about 1,000 views a day. I just cutting out that stream, and I cut out that stream because I needed to recreate the content to get in tune with YouTube's guidelines. I have copyright permissions. I have all of my contracts with all of the people that showed up on the channel, the bonus content like Hannah and Maja and all the girls that showed up in that collaboration. I have all of the slips, all of the paperwork I need for copyright protection, but it's not about copyright. It's about the way that it was presented, the music that was in there, or some other shit. And then they're starting to, YouTube's just getting fucking crazy. So trying to keep in tune with their guidelines, we cut out a lot of the content so they didn't say it was reused content or anything like that. Renewed my permissions with the girls. Said, hey, I went ahead and cut out the original videos. We're going to remix a few things and get things back up and running. And all of them are right back on board. So there's a lot of content there that I can crank out. It's just a matter of getting the time to make the shit and put it out. That'll get the views back up. That'll get the channel that X factor, that kind of ball of energy that spins at the center of the channel. Having those collaborations on there gives us a ton more reach. Hey, appreciate that. Yeah, she is a cute little puppy. I do need to be getting her tucked into bed, though. But yeah, having collaborations on your channel gives you this ball of energy. It extends your reach massively. Gives you a massive amount of views, especially if you can network with somebody who's already got a social media following. That's what drives, that's the core of the channel. And then you build the series around that core. So you have all of this content going around, but right at the center of it, right at the heart, is this really concentrated ball of really viral videos that's driving everything. That's what I'm trying to recreate. It takes a long time to fucking recreate it, though. Once you rip the heart out of a channel, it's hard to put a new heart back in, but that's what I've been trying to do. Alright, guys, we're coming up on the last minute here. We're going to wrap this up at about 60 minutes. Thank y'all for hanging out with me here on the porch. Like I said, I'm going to get in there and I'm actually going to get me something proper to eat. Probably switch from bourbon to coffee while I sit down and watch tonight's live stream so I can catch all your comments and see what I missed as far as that comment section goes. Do all the metadata for that. We got a link to a Facebook group, a bushcrafting group called Bushcraft Connection that we're going to get up there in the metadata of tonight's live stream at the camp. And yeah, just get this all worked up so everybody that missed the streams can come back and check it out. Thank you, Jess. She is a beautiful pup. I'm kind of proud of her. I still have mixed emotions, obviously. You know, it's just Bailey being gone is too fresh as far as I'm concerned. Courtney's completely latched onto this dog. That's her coping mechanism. And me, I'm just kind of, I love the pup. She's adorable. And that work that we have to put into her is kind of a distraction. So she's healing us and doesn't even know it. But you won't thank me for the creepy crawly. I apologize for the spider, but yeah, we do have a spider too. We're going to try to live stream again tomorrow. Tomorrow's live stream, though, will be in the morning or afternoon, depending on what time I get my ass up out of bed. And I got to get back out to camp, so I might as well bring the phone with me. I can stream for a while out there, get some more of the work done on the build, and then come back. I want to shoot my bow for a while tomorrow, too. Yeah, I've been drinking moonshine and bourbon all fucking night long. I need to switch to coffee and get something in my stomach besides alcohol. I'm really not an alcoholic. But, yeah, we do drink while we're filming the series because it's against YouTube rules. You're not supposed to drink alcohol or smoke or cuss or, you hear all this shit. Don't do that. You'll get demonetized. I don't care if I get demonetized or not, which is why I still do it. If I lose money on a fucking video, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Yeah, I got a couple of steaks in there. I actually have I got tenderloin in there I'm going to be fixing, I think. Or cook up some tenderloin here. I got some smoked chips in there. Put a little smoke to it. And sit down and I'll watch that live stream the way you guys watched it. See what worked and what didn't. And then it gives me a perspective of how we were filming there at night. I can actually see a little bit better perspective rather than just on my tiny iPhone screen. It looks completely different on my computer when I'm watching it here at home. So I don't know what other people tend to watch this live streams on, what devices you're watching, whether it's a phone or a tablet or a laptop or home PC. Or I get views from everything. I even get people watching me on TV, and I get a lot of my views from Gmail. So everybody watching me through their Gmail. But I still point out that a good majority of my views come from unsubscribed people, so they want to see the content, but they don't have the heart to subscribe. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. We honestly do need a few more fucking outlaws. There's some great bushcrafting channels out there, great guys out there that try to do this PG-13 Dora the Explorer content, thinking it's going to get them over, and it's not. I need some more fucking in-laws, outlaws, and friends that are on the same level. I know they're out there. They're just too chicken shit to fucking do it. Which, I mean, it's working for me. I'm a prime example of what not to do for the most part, but it's getting me over fairly well. I mean, my channel's it's less than 2 years old, and here we are. We're doing alright. We got a loyal troll. I have my own loyal troll. The little chicken shit sumbitch don't actually ever say anything. He just thumbs down all of my videos. And probably got a fake account to do that. And that's fine. You can be a chicken shit if you want. Don't really hurt my feelings any. Thanks for the activity on the channel. That means you're giving me at least a view. And the thumbs up, thumbs down, that shit don't matter. It's just activity on the video. So my little hater is probably helping me out. I'll bet it's Joe Robinette. He's probably my troll. He's probably going thumbs down in all of my videos thinking it's going to do something. Man, I got haters. But you can't do, and I expected it. You can't do this. You can't do and say the shit that I do and say and expect everybody to love you for it. I mean, there's a lot of lemming syndrome people out there. Lemming syndrome is those people that follow the leader right off the edge of the cliff. And then you got a guy like me comes along and says, the hero, this guy that you've been worshiping for all this time is full of shit. And I'll tell you why. You don't have to like it. You don't even have to accept it. But I'm not going to lie for him. If I know something behind the scenes that's off camera, if I know something that's going on off camera, like a business aspect of YouTube, and I know that this guy's corrupt as fuck, and that his motivations are wrong, no matter what he says on his channel, I call that sumbitch out by name. Because you're conning people, and you're conning a shit ton of people into buying your fucking gear, into buying your logo, into buying your hype. And you do it with this sweet face. But whenever the camera's off, the only thing you see as far as your subscriber base is money, 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 money. They're like cattle to these guys. The subscriber base is like this herd of cattle out in the field. All of them's got a number on their head. And you see, YouTubers like Joe with 1 million subscribers. How many of those accounts do you think are still active? But he uses that as a resume. That, you know, I have 1 million YouTube subscribers. I don't give a fuck if YouTube says you have 1 million. Most of those accounts aren't active. There's no way. And that's why you only get 200,000 views even with 1 million subscribers, because they're old accounts. Nobody even fucking logs into them. So that number don't mean shit to me. 87% of my views come from unsubscribed people. They come and they watch the content, but they don't want to give me a subscription. And I know there's bigger YouTubers that watch my fucking content, because I'll put out an idea, or I go out to an art build and I do something, and the very fucking next week or 2 weeks later, I see this other little sumbitch copying the same fucking idea, trying to one-up me on it. Like, dude, they're time-stamped. We know who came up with the shit first. You know, it's fine. Watch. I'll show you boys what to fucking do. Yeah, I mean, and a lot of us are these city slicker sons of bitches out there trying to be like us country boys, and they ain't never gonna be like us. No matter what the YouTube numbers say, or what they claim on their fucking videos, either you're born country or you're not fucking country. That's why I go at it at the approach I go at it, just going out there being myself and not trying to become some sort of baby face for the market value of it. And they go out there thinking money, 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 money. Squarespace. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring my fishing trip. Motherfucker, I'm just trying to get change out of the backseat of my truck to go get enough bait to go on a fishing trip. I don't need nobody to pay me for it. It's just what I want to fucking do. I'm tired. And I got a buzz, and I need to go eat my tenderloin. We done overstreamed. Anyway, guys. Alright, so we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to go in and tuck Paisley in. Thank you guys for stopping by to meet her. Hopefully she gets to show up on the channel a little bit more often. As she gets more comfortable with her environment out here on the porch, or, you know, out in the garage. She's probably going to be a garage dog. She'll be out there with Dad quite a bit. The only time that I won't have the girls out with me, obviously, is whenever I'm shooting the bow. They can't be out there for that, because they're just too... They'll just run right in front of me. Or they'll try to chase the damn arrow. Yeah, we're going to get back out there with the bow here pretty soon. We're going to do some more target shooting from a different perspective. And from a different angle. I actually need to start practicing shooting from a higher angle, so I can shoot from my tree stand. So we're going to be... we're rigging something up in the backyard where I can shoot that downward angle at the target and see how that comes out. Be doing some more target shooting out there, hanging out in the garage. We got a couple craft projects out there, and we're going to be getting that thing sealed up, ready for winter. I want to put a heater out there in the garage so I could be out in the garage in the winter time too. And rigging some lighting up out there for so we can live stream at night, and it ain't so damn dark, and we can control the lighting. We don't have to have, you know, keep moving the garage door up and down with the natural light. Yep. Dogs. Compound bows. Storybook cottage builds, bourbon, moonshine, backwoods bourbon cigars, cussing, drinking, smoking, Huntsman style shit. A lot of people out there hate me for it, and that's fine. You can keep hating me for it. Those that like me love me. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Appreciate y'all stopping by. I'll see you again next time.